Hi, good afternoon everyone. I just thought I'd come on video this afternoon to explain a little bit about the way I work. I've had a really busy weekend, been here, there and everywhere conducting ceremonies, which has been lovely. But actually the ceremony itself, when I come to conduct the ceremony, it's kind of the icing on the cake, because actually the work is all done in the months leading up to the wedding itself. And I perhaps differ from some other celebrants in my approach here, because for me, that relationship, the more I get to know about you, about what you want from your ceremony, the better my writing process is. It helps me be super creative. So I thought I'd tell you a little bit about some of the weddings that are coming up for me this week and how those weddings have evolved over a period of time. Basically, from the moment that you book me, you actually, I set up a WhatsApp group for the two of you as a couple and for me together as a group, and that remains a platform that you can send me things. So if you come across something you're reading, I love quotes, I'm a big reader, so I love quotes from literature, and you might tell me your favourite books, for instance. You might tell me the lyrics of the favourite song that you have. All of those things help me to create, help me to understand your personalities, help me to understand a bit more about you. And therefore, the more I know, the more you send me things, the more you see things and you ping them across to the WhatsApp group, the better it all comes together as one. So the WhatsApp group is started, and then I arrange either obviously face-to-face meetings, if we can arrange that, or on video call. Again, lots and lots of ideas to bounce around. I use a system whereby I've got several questionnaires to send you. They are designed to be fun and absolutely not a chore. And what they're designed for is to get you to tell me more stories, more things about you as a couple and the things that you enjoy and share together and your relationship. One of them's called Getting to Know You, for instance, and it just asks you things like, who's the messiest, who's the most outgoing, who's the most romantic, who buys the best presents, that kind of thing, because all of those things hopefully spark conversation between you that mean that you'll send me things. I also ask you to send me individually your story, how you met, funny things that have happened along the way, the proposal story, all of those kind of things, which again help me be creative. And because I get it from two perspectives and link them together, it really helps to create that ceremony for you. Now, what I always say to all of my couples is, all of your guests will say that they've never been to a ceremony like it before. They won't have. This isn't a ceremony like any other. This is a ceremony that's designed for you as as your couple, as your relationship, and no one else will have that same ceremony. And all the elements that I create are all specifically tailor-made to you. Once you've filled those questionnaires in, my brain starts to really buzz too. So I'll be looking at the things that you've sent me, I'll be looking at what you've written for me, and all sorts of ideas will spark in my mind, and I will ping things across. Maybe quotations, maybe things that I've seen that I like, suggestions for readers, all those kind of things, all the different elements, again, that come together to create this special ceremony that's just for you. So let me tell you a little bit about the way in which I have created a couple of the ceremonies that are coming up for me this week. The first ceremony I have this week is for a brother and sister and their siblings who are getting married in a joint ceremony. So that's been very different, because obviously you've got not two people, but four people that you have to make sure that all of those elements are coming together. So very, very different, but the same kind of premise that I always use. I want to know your story. I want to be able to tell your story from the beginning, and all those elements with a little bit of theatre added in. An example of that was Emma and Glenn's ceremony on Saturday, where lovely Aussie couple, super laid back as the Aussies always are, and I was telling the story about how they met, and basically the first date, after they'd met the first occasion, but the first date was when Glenn called Emma and asked to arrange a date in the day. In the day, on a walking expedition with no alcohol. She'd never actually heard of such a thing. So it's that theatre, it's that, expression that I use within the ceremony that helps to bring it alive, if you like. One thing your guests will know from all of the things that I do is that we know each other. We know each other well. So I'm not just turning up on the day with a set script that I'm then going to just share with your guests. This is a relationship that we've built together, and that's what I build upon to create this ceremony. So my aim within the ceremony is always to make sure your guests have a mixture of emotion. They're going to laugh, they're going to have tears of sentiment, they're going to have happy tears, all sorts of things like that. And all my testimonies, if you read them, show how I'm successful in doing that. For me, I love to be creative. I love to be able to take in all of those elements and create this special something for you. And it gives me no greater pleasure than when I ping off your first draft to you to read, to make sure that I've interpreted all the elements correctly. And when it comes back, to get that feedback. What I always do say to you is it's yours at the end of the day. And even the day before, you might change your mind. Glenn on Saturday had decided that he didn't want a read and response type reading. So that would be where I would say one line and the guests would say another line. He didn't want that. That was the day before the wedding. That's absolutely fine. All of those things are absolutely fine with me. This is your ceremony. I want to make it really special for you. And hopefully what you can see from what I've said is that this is totally unique, totally special for you, and something that was going to create lasting memories for you and your guests, something really special. And nothing gives me greater pleasure than to hear the feedback that I get from both guests after the ceremony and the couples when they tell me, how very special it was. So hopefully that's just explained a little bit about it. The next one that I'm doing this week that I'm going to tell you about is a Swedish couple on Saturday. Now, they're having the ceremony in English, but the elements will be that they're going to have readings in Swedish, and their vows will be exchanged in Swedish. They'll do all the traditional things like the ring exchange. They're going to have a sand unity ceremony with their children, which will be really lovely. And also they have particular interest in Harry Potter, and the proposal story was after having seen The Lion King, the stage show in London. So I have intertwined Lion King elements, Harry Potter elements, all sorts of things like that. So very special, and even sent off an email to J.K. Rowling's office and got a reply back. So I'm including that too. So again, very special. And then the other one I have this week is a lovely couple who are both getting married for a second time and have children and grandchildren between them. And they're actually going to have a hand fasting where they will be, there are different ribbons for each one of the children. So here are my hand fasting ribbons that are all ready for their ceremony this week. And each one has been chosen with one of the children or grandchildren in mind, and each one of them will come to place the ribbon before I tie the knot, which is where hand fasting comes from. So I don't want to ramble on anymore, but I just wanted to share that with you, and hopefully it just guides you a little bit more on how I work. And I hope to be able to chat to you about creating your ceremony. 2020 is looking to be super busy. It's that special year, a bit like the year 2000, I think, where people are wanting that date. So the dates are filling up. So if you have a special date in mind, please don't hesitate to get in touch. And we'll very much look forward to speaking to you. Bye for now.